We're the Batty Bloomers. This is our first YouTube video ever. I'm Janelle, and this is my sister.
I'm Jill.
And we
love to garden.
We love to garden.
We wanted to share it with everybody else.
Sure, yes. And we live in South Central Pennsylvania in Zone 6B.
Which is really hot today.
Yes, very hot. Why do we like to garden?
Well, we have a heritage of it, but we also love English country garden or cottage gardens.
Yes, Gardener's World has been a big
huge
influence on our gardening.
Thank you, Monty.
Yes.
Hi, welcome to my garden. We're going to walk down this way towards the secret garden. This is the newest garden I've made. I started this in the spring this year. This was a pool, an in-ground pool 15 years ago when we moved here. It was in terrible shape. We never actually used it. We had to get rid of it. And then last year my daughter got married down here. We had a giant tent. And as you can see now, we couldn't do that now because I decided finally to do something with this area. So I'm calling this my secret garden. It's not a secret yet, but hopefully as the plants grow and it matures, it will turn into one somewhat. I'd like to put a gate on it. I've always wanted a gate. This is more of the secret garden here. I'm hoping in time to have some things for kids in here because I have a grandbaby. This is my rock garden that I put in a few weeks ago because I didn't really know what to do with this space at the little shed here. And I love rock gardens, and I have tons of rocks on my property. And this is a garden over here that's just kind of a whatever garden because my daughter made it a few years ago, who no longer lives here. But it's very beautiful, even though I don't pay much attention to it. So this is more of the secret garden. The tree in the middle is a Japanese lilac, which is not a normal lilac. It's more tree-ish. It gets like 20 feet tall, 15 to 20 feet tall, I think. I thought that'd be fun to stick a tree in the middle. I'm hoping for some shade down here. We have very little shade out here, and it's very hot. And today happens to be like the hottest day of the year, so it's super hot out here today. And this is a mock orange here that I was really excited to have. I've wanted one of those for a while and didn't have success, and now I finally have one, which makes me happy. And here's a beautiful butterfly on the butterfly bush. Isn't he pretty? Oh, look at all. There's another one coming. Beautiful. So much joy in gardening. I can't even say how much enjoyment I get out of it and how therapeutic it is too. Well, this area looks pretty awful because it's still in progress. It's actually going to end up being a fire pit area, so that's coming up, but it's not there yet. And here's a hazel tree, which I think I'm going to have to move for the third time. I don't think this is a very good spot for it, but I didn't have the whole design figured out when I put it here. So, I've got the fennel going everywhere. I had a big storm last night, so everything is falling over. And I love grasses. I have grasses. I want to even get more. And then over here, you can see this kind of looks like a mess too. This was a sod sofa that I had tried to build. It was rather huge, horribly uncomfortable to sit on, and it was just producing weeds. So I'm digging it out, which is fine because then I have a little bit of shade under this redbud tree here, which is precious down here, the shade. So I'll make another seating area, probably, and some plants. This is my middle garden, which actually was the first garden I made when we moved here. It was much smaller when I first made it, but this was the first one, and it has grown, and it has a path through the middle now, which used to have bushes right in the middle, and a little seating area, a little tiny still pond, and This is I call it a chocolate bush. It's actually a chase tree, but the leaves smell like chocolate to me, which is delicious smelling. Okay, so this is looking up towards our house from this middle garden, and you can see the rose beds here in front of the box hedge. I moved all of those roses this year down from the top of the garden where all those sunflowers are. They had been up there for years, and I was tired of them up there because it's kind of boring. So I had to make these beds. I did that this spring. They're very full of weeds. Sorry about that. I've tried to put ground cover in, but the weeds, of course, come up as well. So I've been weeding and weeding it, but they still are there. That's okay. We can live with some weeds. So this arch-ish thing is actually 2 willow trees, hybrid willows, that I had trained into an arch years ago. It was much smaller, obviously. And then last year, it was huge. It was taller than the pine tree here. So we chopped it off, and I'm trying to control it this year and keep it as an arch. So far it's working out pretty well. So this is the bank garden at my porch. It really looks like a mess right now. This is where I took the roses out from. And I was really hoping for lower growing things. That was one of the reasons we moved the roses, was because they grew too tall. They were not ground cover roses like I thought. But the critters buried all these sunflower seeds, and they're beautiful, but it totally defeats the point of why I moved my roses. But I don't have the heart to pull them out yet because the goldfinches are so beautiful, enjoying them. And then here I put in a little rainwater catch pond and stepway that was not here before. Unfortunately, my fish in there just died yesterday. I don't know why. So I'm gonna have to replace them. But there is usually a frog sitting in there making lots of noise. He's not there right now. This is the other side of the steps coming out off my front porch, the other side of the bank garden at my porch where the sunflowers have taken over. I did put a lot of different stuff in here. I put seeds, I put perennials, and it's kind of a mess. I'm gonna have to sort this out later. Not today. It's so hot and humid today. And then over here I have, well, these are mullein pinks that have just seated themselves here, and I had to make a little extra space for them because they're so beautiful. And this is my little herb garden that I made probably last year. It also got kind of hit by that storm last night. A lot of stuff is falling over. And this is walking off our porch. You can see the herb garden to our left. And the reason I have these white stone paths are because when we moved here there were no gardens, except there were white stones all around the porch. So I had to dig them all out and I started using them. So I just went with that. So here's a little pond that we put in almost right away when we moved here because there were giant evergreen bushes blocking these windows. We pulled them out and it left this big hole, and my husband's dad was getting rid of a pond, little pond thing, and we took it and it's been there ever since, and it's delightful. You can see the little frog sitting here beside it, and there are fish in there, and it's given us lots of delight. And this is also a new garden. We did this one last July. We started this one. It used to just all be grass, of course. This was originally going to be a Japanese garden. Then it turned into, you can see I moved all these rocks in here, and I made steps down here. And it's just turned into all kinds of planting around these rocks. And then a pond, which is delightful. And a little seating area over on the left, which is missing the seats right now. And right now there are lots of things growing that I did not plant, that planted themselves, that are going to come out, but it looks really pretty anyway. here we're going through an arch that a dear friend gave to me, who's no longer in this world. And I'm so happy to have that as a reminder of her. This garden over here is also one of the first gardens that was put in. Once again, there were no gardens, it was just grass or rocks. And my son, who no longer lives with me, really helped a lot digging this out. It's also kind of my wild garden. I kind of let the bee balm and the coneflower and the phlox do as they will. This little area at the driveway here used to all be driveway, but a few years ago we had to put in some drainage, and I got a garden, which is lovely because I've always wanted one right here. And then I put the clematis in last year, I think that was, and we're trying to get it to grow all over there. It's doing pretty well. The one died on me, but we'll have to replace that if it doesn't come back. Wait, I think she's telling you. She's right. I knew this was gonna happen. We tried to.
You should save these videos so that you can put them on those speakers.
Hi. Hi. Welcome to our very first YouTube video. Are inspired by See, now I'm not the
Don't
problem.
do it like that. I can't.